Now, the Chinese are going to drive a hard political bargain here in Copenhagen, but they have other ways to ensure they'll be the global leader in the new low-carbon economy. Nothing agreed here can be put into practice without green technologies such as wind turbines, but those can't be manufactured without elements known as rare earths. China produces 95% of the world's supply of rare earths, but there's an environmental cost. Mining and processing is poisoning the land. Our international editor Lindsay Hilson travelled to Baotou.
It doesn't look very green. Rare earth processing in China is a messy, dangerous, polluting business. It uses toxic chemicals, acids, sulfates, ammonia. The workers have little or no protection. But without rare earth, Copenhagen means nothing. You buy a Prius hybrid car and think you're saving the planet, but each motor contains a kilo of neodymium and each battery more than 10 kilos of lanthanum, rare earth elements from China. Green campaigners love wind turbines, but the permanent magnets used to manufacture a 3-megawatt turbine contain some 2 tons of rare earth. The head of China's Rare Earth Research Institute shows me one of those permanent magnets. He's well aware of the issues.
The environmental problems include air emissions with harmful elements such as fluorine and sulfur, wastewater that contains excessive acid, and radioactive materials too. China meets 95% of the world's demand for rare earth, and most of the separation and extraction is done here, so the pollution stays in China too.
The authorities gave us a DVD of Bio and Erbo in Inner Mongolia, where most of the world's rare earth is mined along with iron ore. They wouldn't let us film it ourselves. But at Baotou, 100 miles away, we found the frozen tailing lake, where rare earth mixes with mud, waiting for processing at nearby factories. Technologies we all use, like computers, mobile phones and energy-saving light bulbs, use rare earth processed here. And local villagers whose farmland has been ruined by seepage from the lake pay the price.
The Baotou Environmental Protection Bureau tested our water, and they concluded that it wasn't fit for people or animals to drink or for irrigation.
For those who remember the old life, it's hard to understand. The authorities pay compensation, acknowledging that the land has been ruined, but they haven't yet relocated the villagers.
Rare earth is the country's resource, but small people like us need to eat too. We live on farming, but the crops no longer grow and we will go hungry.
At a rare earth conference in Hong Kong, the talk is of how to reduce dependence on China, which achieved 95% dominance by undercutting other producers.
If the purpose is to lower our dependence on foreign oil, and all we're doing is asking that we put hybrid cars on the road that need Chinese rare earth materials, aren't we just changing, intertrading one dependence for another?
High on the frozen steppe of Inner Mongolia, a huge wind farm. China's aiming to be the world leader in wind energy. Chinese negotiators at Copenhagen may resist political commitments, but the government's already subsidizing new technologies to boost the economy and be sustainable.
Deal or no deal at Copenhagen, there's going to be an increased demand for wind turbines, both inside China and outside. But what the Chinese want to ensure is that they're not just providing the essential raw materials, the rare earths, and doing the manufacturing, but that they also have access to the most advanced low-carbon technologies.
We were shown plans for what they're calling the Silicon Valley of rare earth, a high-tech industrial park in Baotou to attract international investors. This year there was an outcry when the Chinese said they would restrict the export of rare earth to conserve their supply and to make foreign companies produce their high-end technologies here in China.
Although China has the largest reserves, we only have 50% of global deposits. We are supplying too much rare earth and it's not sustainable, so we must restrict export.
The writing on the wall says, become the leader of the world in rare earth industry. But China can't produce enough for everyone anymore. And if governments are serious about low-carbon technologies, other countries will have to start producing.
I think that if we don't get a couple of projects up and running very, very quickly, there's going to be a very severe shortage of rare earths in the world, and all of these clean energy technologies that we're legislating and trying to implement through policy changes are not going to be possible.
Champions of a low-carbon future have yet to wake up to the environmental price Chinese workers and villagers are paying. At Copenhagen, politicians talk of cutting carbon emissions, but they can't meet any targets without rare earth. And that means a sustainable supply, and not all from China. Lindsay Hilson, Channel 4 News, Bao